So, welcome to the Nutrition and Stress webinar. And my name is Bridget, and I'm going to show you some tips and tricks on how to manage nutrition when you're also dealing with some stress. So, what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about who I am, what stress is, a little bit about nutrition and health, some symptoms of stress, some examples of exactly what I'm talking about, some people that you may know, or maybe it is you. Tips for meals, tips for managing stress, and then some community sources within the Central Coast, specifically Lompoc, California. I'll leave it open to any questions, although this will be a recording, so feel free to email me, feel free to reach out, and if you have any other questions, and then we'll close out and I'll say my thank yous. So first of all, my name is Bridget Koenig. I am the owner and instructor at Awaken Cardio Kickboxing in Lompoc, California. I'm a certified nutritionist. I went to Fresno State University for nutrition, and I am a NASM certified personal trainer. I've been training since 2010. I'm an Army veteran. I was a 68 Mike, which is nutrition care specialist, which is basically like a cook, but in hospitals. So special diets, things like that. And also field kitchen work. I have certificates in medical nutrition and nutrition management. So that would allow me to manage medical kitchens. So let's talk about what stress is. So stress can be defined as a state of worry or mental tension caused by a difficult situation. Stress is a natural human response that prompts us to address challenges and threats in our lives. Everyone experiences stress to some degree, such as deadlines at work, busy schedules, parents with young children, financial worry, overwhelm, changes in routine. A lot of stress is caused by being busy. I've never met somebody who doesn't have a busy schedule. Wait, everyone that I know that is stressed has a busy schedule. So a lot of the time stress is because we're busy, right? We've got lots of things to do. So nutrition's part in our health. Nutrition's part in our health. Nutrition is the number one factor in our health status. The nutrients we get from our food to fuel our body, we use the nutrients from our food to fuel our body. Everything in our food gets broken down and redistributed to the parts of the body that needs it. What we don't need gets stored later as fat usually, or sent through the digestive system to be excreted as urine or feces. So you are literally what you eat. Every piece of food gets broken down into its simple molecules as it goes down our digestive system and gets redistributed to our body as needed. Some of these things in our body, like amino acids and protein, different vitamins and minerals, can get stored for up to, like a day, or like some people say like a week, before they can get excreted. So that's also something to kind of take into consideration. So here's some symptoms of stress that you might notice. Stress can create tension within the body. Tension is within muscles, right? So that can also affect our digestive system. Our whole digestive tract, from our jaw to our tongue, to our throat, our stomach, it's all muscles, are all the way through all of our intestines, out the butt, right? It's all muscles. We've got sphincters in different areas. So tension within the body can put pressure or cause differences in our digestive system. Diarrhea, constipation, ulcers, stomach aches, and vomiting. The first time I did this presentation, somebody said, "Oh, so you can get these symptoms without having food poisoning?" Absolutely, yes. You don't have to have an aversion to certain foods, or be allergic, or have food poisoning to have any of these symptoms. So if you're constantly having stomach aches, it could be from stress. If you feel like you have runny diarrhea or something, it could be from stress. If you have ever performed or done something like stood up in front of a group or gave a presentation and you're like, "Oh my gosh, I have to pee. Oh my gosh, I feel like I have to poop. Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm going to throw up." Or oh, my stomach's upset, I can't eat anything. That's stress. Now let's go back and remember that stress is not always a bad thing. Stress just means that our body is trying to survive or like move, like change, right? It's trying to adjust. Our body always wants to be in a homeostasis. So we always want to be kind of level. If we're like all over the place, our body's like, no, 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 I don't like it. And it feels stress and we release different hormones. But we're not going to get into that right now. We're just going to keep it nice and simple within this presentation. So, some other symptoms of stress that directly relate to food is that like stress can create tension within the mind too. It inhibits our ability to make decisions. Sometimes we make decisions on food based on our emotions. Eating these comfort foods. Comfort foods are foods like, for me, it's ramen. I can eat a big bowl of salty, like zero nutritional value ramen anytime. Like that's me for me. A lot of people, it's mac and cheese or a chocolate bar or some kind of desserty cupcake like you see in the photo. Comfort foods generally aren't the healthiest choices. They're just something that's going to help us feel good. And we're not necessarily reaching for these comfort foods because of their nutritional value. We like the way they taste and the way that we feel. Not eating at all is also another big one. Sometimes when you're just so stressed or so busy, you're just like, I cannot make another decision right now. So I'm just not going to eat. Or just nothing sounds good because maybe those stomach aches, as we talked about before. Or you just feel like, oh, like I'm going to throw up, so I'm just not going to eat anything, right? Binge eating. Just, I know most people have been here before where you go to the cupboard and you're just opening cabinets and just grabbing the easiest food available, whatever you can. And it just feels good in that moment. Feeling that crunch or tasting the saltiness is a really quick way to kind of distract our mind from the stress, right? So basically, not eating enough or too much is the biggest problems. So here are some examples. You might be this person, or you might know somebody like this, or parts of these stories you might be able to relate to. I'm going to give you two different examples of like exactly what I'm talking about here. So our first example is Jane. Jane is a busy mom. She's a nurse. She works the night shift and has two school-aged kids, and they're both really competitive soccer players, which means she's also busy on the weekends and evenings when her kids have soccer practice. She has help, but her days are busy and she finds it hard to make time to eat. So she just skips her meals. After she drops her kids off for school, she heads home to sleep. She takes a shower, but before she sleeps, she realizes she hasn't eaten all night. So she goes to the kitchen, chooses the easiest choice, which happens to be a bag of potato chips, 3 Reese's mini cups, leftover spaghetti, and garlic bread. She goes to bed and wakes up with heartburn. She feels even more tired and groggy, so she grabs a large cup of coffee before heading back out to do it all over again. I know some of us, not some, I mean, I'm just making generalized things here. In the morning, you're like, I am so tired, grabbing that cup of coffee, right? Hoping for something to help you feel better. I am a huge coffee, or used to be a huge coffee drinker, and I've cut back quite a bit. But I know that like we kind of just go into these like routines where it's not necessarily we're making these choices because they're good for us, but we do them because they're habit. And it's having that routine is kind of a stress reliever. But when your routine starts to add to your stress, that's kind of when we have a little bit of an issue. Then we have Fred. Fred is a very successful real estate agent. He's not married, he has no kids, he owns a very nice house, and he drives a luxury car. Money is not an issue for him. He spends most of his time sitting at his desk or driving around to make sales and show houses. He works all the time. He stops at fast food often and eats at his desk. When he's not working, he goes to the gym and does CrossFit. He has been working out consistently, but has not seen any progress in his strength or endurance. It's not uncommon for him to go to the bar with his buddies and have quite a few beers. Fred deals with constipation on a regular basis. So some problems that we can see with Fred is that he puts work first. He's on the go, on the go, on the go, eating, probably talking while eating, doing things at his desk, eating, without even kind of realizing what he's eating. And fast food is usually not one of the healthier options, right? Um, and then he kind of, he has fun. He has a lot of beers and he's not feeding his body properly. Stress can show up in mysterious ways, not only in our digestive system and decision making, but it can show up as pain in the body and how we view ourselves. So these can be from tension or stress headaches, that tension that just starts here and it just kind of goes up into your head, or sometimes it can start in the front and move back. It can lead to low self esteem, low self worth, chronic pain, feeling tired all the time, and can also lead into deeper symptoms like anxiety, depression, and insomnia. So down below, you should see a PDF that you can go ahead and print out, or you can go ahead and take notes on your own. But I want you to just kind of reflect inward and see what seems to cause you to experience stress. And what do you do when you experience stress? What are some of the habits that you start to notice when you are starting to experience stress? Are you someone who doesn't eat? Are you someone who has insomnia? Are you someone who, just what happens when you experience stress? Go ahead and pause this video and go ahead and fill that out and press play when you're ready. So here are some tips for mealtime. Planning your meals ahead of time is going to help tremendously. Remember to stick to the basics. Remember to sit down when you eat and follow the carb, protein, fruit/vegetable template. These are tips for meals when you are currently stressed or when you are currently experiencing a stressful time. These are not for everyday rules, as I think that they would help you quite a bit, but these are specific to when you are feeling stressed, okay? Sticking to the basics is super, super important, especially in this time that we live in. I know you've all heard of like a million different diets, you shouldn't eat before this time, you shouldn't eat after that time, you need to eat this type of food at that time. This is not the time to add more to your stress, okay? This is a time to just take it back to the basics, fuel our body for its basic needs right now, okay? Try your best not to stress out about the type of food that you're eating, okay? This is a time to slow down. Plan your meals ahead of time if you can. Just have a basic understanding of what you're going to eat for breakfast, what you're going to have for lunch, and what you're going to have for dinner, and if you're going to have snacks in between. Keep it super simple. In the next slide, I'm going to show you my tried and true basic meal planner template, okay? So this is kind of my little creation of the carbohydrate, protein, fruit, and veggie template, okay? I want you to think of your foods as just your plate as like a template, okay? You have 3 different categories and you just want to have some kind of food that fits into each category, okay? These do not have to be crazy superfoods. They just need to basically fulfill certain areas so that you can get full, complete nutrition during this time that you are stressed, okay? So our carbohydrates, we have in the middle here, we have pasta, potatoes, rice, corn. Bread would count in this category. Something that has a carbohydrate base. I'm going to have more videos coming out that describe exactly what these what the 3 macronutrients are and all of that. So stay tuned. But for right now, I just want you to kind of look visually, keep it simple, okay? So think potatoes, rice, corn, bread for your carbohydrate. Then we have our protein sources. think beans, legumes, soy or tofu. So I'm a plant-based eater. Um, I think that it is wonderful, but I know that not everybody wants to give up meat, dairy, and eggs in their diet. Meat, dairy, and eggs would fall into that protein category. Okay. Then we have our our fruit and veggie category. This can be something from apples, bananas, bell peppers, tomatoes, avocado counts as a fruit. Okay, we have asparagus, broccoli, zucchini, kale, lettuce, all of those things that are obvious plants. We want to have them in there. You may notice I don't have a fat category in here. Most of the time, we are not deficient in fat intake. Okay. Most of the time, we have fat that just kind of trickles in now and again. Now, if I just gave you a single potato, a scoop of black beans, and then like some broccoli on the side, it's going to taste super plain and bland. Now, most of the time, you're going to add something like a sauce on the top, right? Or like some kind of drizzle of something. Most likely, that is going to have traces of fat. Okay. So don't worry about the fat too much. Like I said, we're keeping it very simple, just making sure that we're getting the nutrients that we can. It's really important to have your carbohydrate and protein, especially if you are a plant-based eater like myself, to be intentional. For example, beans could count for a protein or a carbohydrate because they are high in both of those things. Okay. Quinoa, for example, is high in protein and high in carbohydrates. So you would want to have one of each. Okay. So you would have your beans, I would count that as my protein, and then my quinoa, that would count as my carbs, although they could both count for both. Okay. So just make sure that it's intentional and not just like, oh, this is beans. This will count as my carbohydrate and my protein. You need to have one of each. Okay. And then, of course, your vegetable or fruit could be anything that you really enjoy. And the same thing goes for corn. Corn could count as a carbohydrate or as a vegetable. It just depends on what else you have on your plate. But try your best not to overthink it. As long as you got that fruit and veggie, some kind of form of carbohydrate, and some kind of form of protein, you're going to be good and it's going to get you through this stressful time. Go ahead and fill out your worksheets. At the bottom, you're going to see your top 3 favorites of each. I purposely put it at the bottom of the worksheet so that way you can cut it and like tape it to your cabinet or your fridge. The inside of my cabinet is sometimes what I like to do, because when you are feeling that like you just don't know what to eat or you don't feel like eating, you are able to just open up your cabinet and say, okay, I'm going to pick 1, 2, and 3, and I'm just going to put something together. I want this to be stuff that you enjoy and that you regularly have on hand. So this can be like frozen veggies that you have in the freezer already. This can be pasta that you already have in your cabinet. And then maybe like a can of beans or something like that. Just something that you can throw together really quickly because you already have it in hand and you know that you enjoy it. Go ahead and pause this video, fill that out, and press play when you're ready. So now that we've got our eating under control, here are some tips for managing that stress. Move your body. Practice your self-care. This means brushing your hair, brushing your teeth, washing your face, taking a shower, putting on clean clothes. Simple things that take care of you, okay? This doesn't necessarily mean go get a massage, although that would be amazing, okay? Just basic hygiene is all that you need to do right now, okay? Just getting through this stressful time. Practice breath work if you can. There are so many different videos online. Breath work can be as simple as breathing in for 4 counts, breathing in, holding it for 4 counts, breathing out for 4 counts, holding it for 4 counts, and repeating. Can really, really, really help kind of your brain like reset and relax. Breathwork can also be meditation if that fits into your day. Now, meditation, it can take 1 minute, it can take 30 seconds, just breathing and focusing on what you hear, what you see, and just, or thinking about completely nothing. Okay. This can really, 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 really help. Again, there are like a million videos on YouTube to follow, things like Headspace, or podcasts even that have free meditation, guided meditation. Planning your day. A lot of the time we have anxiety or stress regarding, I don't know what's going to happen next. Kind of that fear of the unknown. Having some kind of plan, even if it's only from the time you wake up until lunch, is going to like really, really help kind of take out that unknown. And then talking to someone. So I'm a big believer in talk therapy, but just talking to a friend, talking to a pet, talking to yourself can really be a big game changer in your stress levels. And going outside, feeling the sun, getting the sun in your eyes, feeling the breeze. Ideally, go somewhere without cement. Even maybe putting your bare feet on the grass can really help relieve some of that tension. Some of this tension can be relieved in the body and mind through exercise, which is something that is super, super important. Some nutrition and stress reducing resources in Lompoc. I know there's going to be a ton. So in the comments of this video, if you're watching the replay, go ahead and type in more if you see them. Blooming Energy yoga classes and workshops at Blooming Energy. They have workshops often, as well as classes on the regular basis. There's fruit and veggie stands all along the Central Coast. My business, Awaken Cardio Kickboxing, sometimes it just feels really good that you just need to hit something and fit something and get all that stress out. Grocery outlet, they're located all over and they have great affordable options for those struggling financially. Just taking a walk on the beach or trail at Surf Beach or at the Mission, basically anywhere outside is going to be a big, big, big help. So thank you. If you'd like to connect, you can go ahead and go to awakencardiokickboxing.com/personal training. And there is an application if you'd like to work with me for nutrition. And on all social medias, it's Bridget.Koenig. I'm currently taking a break there, but you can go ahead and find me and send me an email or whichever you like.